وقل للمؤمنين يغضوا من أبصارهم ويحفظوا فروجهم ذلك أزكى لهم إن الله خبير بما يصنعون وقل للمؤمنات يغضضن من أبصارهن ويحفظن فروجهن ولا يبدين زينتهن إلا ما ظهر منها وليضربن بخمرهن على جيوبهن ولا يبدين زينتهن إلا لبعولتهن أو آبائهن أو آباء بعولتهن أو أبنائهن أو أبناء بعولتهن أو إخوانهن أو بني إخوانهن أو بني أخواتهن أو نسائهن أو ما ملكت أيمانهن أو التابعين غير أولي الإربة من الرجال أو الطفل الذين لم يظهروا على عورات النساء ولا يضربن بأرجلهن ليعلم ما يخفين من زينتهن وتوبوا إلى الله جميعا أيها المؤمنون لعلكم تفلحون رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي فالحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ثم أما بعد. Once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If I were to ask you now what section was ayahs 30 and 31, what was the overarching theme of 30 and 31 in respect to the rest of the surah? What was it about? Protective measures, right? And before then is manners of seeking permission, meaning when you go to somebody's house, you seek permission. So now we talked about the ayat are about actually the self, your involvement, your interactions with other people when you go to their homes and outside, now the outside society. It's interesting, and I want to start, inshallah, with a thematic study of the first ayah with a question. A sister some time ago wrote me a question about how she wears hijab and then she felt compelled to start wearing the niqab, and then she wore it and then she felt like overpressured, and the thought kept coming to her, you're only wearing it because men can't control themselves and they keep staring. And so she asked somebody of knowledge apparently, why should I wear hijab? And he says, because you have to protect yourself from the gaze of men, etc., etc. G-A-Z-E. So I feel like I'm only doing this because men are animals, and why should I have to change the way I live because of somebody else? What's this about? It's interesting that rationale, the rationale that women should cover themselves because men can't help themselves, is actually not the rationale of the Quran at all. That is not the rationale it took. The rationale the Quran actually took in all of the injunctions that are mentioned in the surah is that if you don't abide by them, there will be a spiritual problem. There's going to be a spiritual problem. The spiritual problem highlighted actually first is not for women, it's for men. And my first response to you should cover because men can't control themselves, if that was the case, Allah would have said, you should cover, you should watch your eyes. In other words, He should have told the women, cover yourselves, because they can't help it. And then, by the way, you should help yourself. You should cover, lower your eyes. But actually, the instruction to lower the eyes was given first to men, which is inconsequential. It doesn't have to do with what He told women. Whether they cover or not, your problem is a separate problem. And even if they wear a khimar, you should still lower your eyes. You understand? It's been made independent. It's not an either or. It's an independent thing. Now, وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and tell the believing men. Now let's start with the qul. Who should tell them? Rasul ﷺ should tell them. Now, why mention even the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Why would he do that? Why would Allah do that? You know, this surah, by the end, we're going to learn manners with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? And in the first ayah of the surah, Allah Azza wa Jal highlighted the power of the Quran. Suratun anzalnaha wa faradnaha wa anzalna ilayka fiha ayatin bayinat. This surah, one of the things we're going to learn with it already through this ayat like these is respect for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as a teacher. So when you apply this commandment, you should be conscious of the fact it is as though the messenger is standing over you telling you. Like your regard, of course we have taqwa of Allah, but we have respect for our teacher, Al-Muallim, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also. So you tell them. You tell them. So there's a double whammy here. You know, Allah tells us something, it impacts us. But for the Sahaba, for Allah to say it, and then Allah to say especially, it'll get through them, it'll penetrate them more if actually they hear it directly from you. And even though if you don't say Qul, the Rasul is going to recite it anyway, alayhi salatu wasalam, his importance has been highlighted in the word Qul. So we have to consider this as an act of loving and obeying the Messenger himself too, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And our loyalty to him is being called in question in the word Qul. Now, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, tell the believing men. Now, why? I've talked to you about the difference between iman or mu'min and الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. الْمُؤْمِنُونَ and الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Al-mu'min is an ism fa'il. آمَنَ يُؤْمِنُ إِيمَانًا فَهُوَ mu'min. That's the sarf you guys did. But الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا is what you call an ism mawsul and a silatul mawsul. We haven't learned that nahu yet, what a silatul mawsul is. You will eventually. But this is actually a construct of two words, those who have come to believe. And those who've come to believe highlights the act of accepting the faith, but not the quality of a person. Mu'min, the ism, is stable. As someone who carries a quality. It's like it becomes almost like a sifa, especially in the mazid fi, the ism fa'il can act like a sifa. Right? Not in the mujarrad, but in the mazid fi, sure. So someone who has the stability of iman. This surah is about stable spirituality, about light inside the hearts. That passage is the center of it, which is going to come soon after this one, by the way. So the believers are being called upon with this لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, not قُلْ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. It is as though Allah is already putting a premise in you. If you are capable of doing this, then know that you have iman. And if you don't have the capability of abiding by this, then you may claim to believe, and you may have come to faith, but real iman hasn't hit you yet. This is for al-mu'mineen. قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Ghadda in Arabic is something, first of all, that is soft, that is light. Meaning don't gawk at things. Na'im. They say ghadd, na'im. Nabatun ghadd, when a plant is growing and it's soft. So keep a soft eye. In other words, don't like stare like that. Have a calm look anyway. Now, are women mentioned? No. So what is Allah talking about? Allah is not just talking about looking at women. He's talking about the way you look at stuff. And hold back. One of the other meanings of ghad, they say wada'a wa naqada, to keep it low, to put something down, and to fall short of, meaning to not quite stare. The Prophet ﷺ's example of walking with purpose, walking straight, there are tourists who are like, yaghuddu. People of iman, they have somewhere to go, they're just going there, because you don't know what you might look at. You know how our kids say, just looking? Just looking. A believer becomes more conscious of the fact that there's a lot of evil out there. There's a lot of bad things around us. So you're not just going to look around anywhere, you're just going to have a focused look. And lowering your glance isn't the same as this. Because you're going to run into people. It just means at an angle, at a certain angle, where you know where you're going, but you're not necessarily And you have to understand the context also. You've just gone to somebody's house. What was the previous passage? You just asked permission and you went into somebody's house. Now, particularly when you've gone to somebody's house, what's the inappropriate thing to do? No? Because you don't know. Maybe they invited you in, but their women aren't totally ready. Maybe they're working in the kitchen and you can kind of see the kitchen. You just kind of keep your eyes, just take it easy, buddy. Take it easy. You're in somebody's house, Situate yourself, maybe turn yourself in a way that you don't have to worry about it. You know? The context matters. Now, it's a general principle even outside, but obviously it's when you're around people, because that's the stage that's been said before. You sought permission to come in. When you came in, you didn't just kind of gawk around, you kind of kept yourself in a limited way. And so the ayat are about social settings. It's not necessarily saying that when you climb up a mountain, you should just only look at the rocks and look at the sky. There's a bird over there. No. قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِم. I can't look at birds. You know, I do photography of birds. Should I quit because of this ayah? No, you shouldn't quit because of this ayah. Like, how do I, you know. The ayah is talking about social settings and keeping your glance and not quite staring. Well, maybe you'll look at something, and ghadda also means actually naqada means to take back, meaning you did look at something and then you just kind of look down, look away. Look, you guys are going to end up at a wedding ceremony. You're going to end up at a walima party. You're going to be just, "Assalamu alaikum, uncle, how are you?" And some girl's going to walk by and you can't help yourself, like, half a second, then astaghfirullah, move on with life. Don't like, wait. None of that. Those days are over. That's done with. You know why? Because you have iman. Now if you do that even now, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to find out. Ain't like anybody's looking at you. Everybody's busy with their food. Or the loud music that's playing or whatever. You know? Or the really boring speeches that are being given. Nobody's paying attention to you. يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ. Allah knows when you steal away a glance. The cheating of the eyes, literally. خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ. وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورِ. And what the hearts keep hidden. You know? It's not wrong for you to find a girl beautiful, but it's wrong for you to keep staring. That's wrong. Put your eyes down. Just lower yours. Just, take it easy. And that's in the word ghadda also, there's a take it, don't get too worked up. Don't get too worked up, you know? This is يَغُضُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. They use, and now that's the other interesting thing. The Arabic expression actually is غَضَّ طَرْفَهُ. غَضَّ طَرْفَهُ. He lowered his glance, or he turned his glance away, or he didn't quite stare, he didn't quite make direct contact. But Allah uses غَضَّ بَصَرَهُ. And basar is different from taraf. Taraf is just a glance. Okay? And taraf also means side of something, meaning you just barely saw it. Basar is to have full view of something. Basar from basir, when Allah has full view, Wallahu bima ta'amaluna basir. Absar is the plural of basar. And the word basar is used when something is fully in view of you. You can see ahead of you totally. Allah is saying just fall short of the full view. You realize somebody's there, but you're not staring at them either. Okay? This is what the men are told to do. يَغُضُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. And then the very next thing that's tied to that is وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ. And they should guard their privates. In other words, they shouldn't commit the act of zina. They should guard their privates. What is the connection? The connection is if you can't control what you see, you won't be able to control what you do. They're directly tied to each other. I mean, there are psychology studies on this now that are up to wazoo. How images directly lead to behaviors. Especially sexually charged images of attraction. How they can lead to behaviors. And it's not a mystery to anybody who knows even basic psychology. وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ. They better watch it. Allah didn't say, watch your eyes, because after eyes, you're going to go make some small talk and accidentally bump into somebody. Watch your eyes, because you're going to go over and just say, Assalamu alaikum. Are you from Dallas? I think I know your brother. Oh yeah, we went to the same school. Yeah, I remember you. Nice talking to you. No. And then you just kind of see her on Facebook and send a message, hey, how's your brother? You don't really mean how's your brother. But you send it to her anyway, how's your brother? And she says, he's fine. And how are you? Allah's not going to spell all of that out for you. That's all you. There's a whole process, man, for a player. There's a whole process. First he finds the girl that he likes, then he kind of comes up with a whole scheme, and it's a long, drawn-out process. It's not immediate, like you don't come up to her and, I think you are beautiful. No. There's an entire architectural scheme involved. And when you manufacture something, what's it called? No, the Arabic word for manufacturing something, putting something elaborate together. Look at the end of the ayah. Inna Allaha khabirum bima yasna'un. Allah knows, has full news of what you put together. There's a lot of sun'a between يَغُضُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ and يَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُم. There's a lot of planning and stuff. He didn't have to spell it out, but Allah says, just because I didn't tell it to you, doesn't mean I don't know it. I know it, playa. Allah just let you know. It's amazing. This ayah is actually very telling. Because in that entire process, there are steps that are allegedly innocent. You might think there's nothing wrong with those steps. It's just innocent communication. It's just a phone call. It's just a couple of text messages. It's just a voicemail. It's just a picture from a wedding. It's nothing. It's just lunch. Then it goes from it's just lunch to it's something more and it's something more and something more and just, I'm still, my heart bleeds. I'm reminded, one time I had to give a talk about protecting ourselves from zina at 2 a.m. at a convention that shall not be named. And it was supposed to be a sister, a social worker, and myself. And we're speaking, and this was a sisters only session. There was a guys only session and there's a girls only session. This was a sisters only session. There's like 400 girls in the auditorium. They're all crying their faces off when we're talking about this. Like, I didn't give like an epic khutbah about like tawbah or anything. We just talked about the problem. I just mentioned some things, and there's bawling going on, like, and they're handing each other like napkins, and it went crazy. Why? Because they don't realize when they've gone too far. There's a lot of seemingly innocent steps that lead to some terrible things. And it all begins with not being able to guard your eyes. When you've made a change towards this deen and you decide to protect your iman, one of the first things that shaitan will destroy in you is your ability to guard your eyes. And he will not let that go. You will learn, you will seek knowledge, you will learn Arabic, you'll grow a beard, you're going to start giving khutbahs, guys, you do MSA talks, and he'll still say, hey, come on, you can look now, it's okay. It's okay, homie. You got this. You're knowledgeable. It's for Islam. I'll tell you. He will not let that go, because he knows that's one thing he can get you with. And so Allah says to those who want to preserve their iman, يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَهُمْ. That is purer for them. Oh, that is so much purer for them. Meaning Allah is now telling us that the path to tazkiyah begins with our eyes. The path to tazkiyah. How do I become a spiritually cleansed person? How do I experience more devotion in my prayer? How do I experience like a real experience in salat? How come I don't cry when I make dua? How come I'm spiritually dead or paralyzed? Why is that? Well, maybe the answer is in your eyes. Maybe it's what you allow yourself to see. See, when you eat something, there are physical consequences, right? When you smell something, you can immediately smell if it's good or bad. When you see something, you don't feel the consequences inside of you. You just see it and you don't think there's any damage. This يَغُضُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ, it's very telling about the kinds of things you will allow yourselves to watch. Not just even physically when you're walking down the mall, in the store, or when you're on campus, or when you're in the elevator or wherever, but also when what you're watching on your phones. What kind of movies you're watching? What are you allowing your eyes to be exposed to? It will directly affect your iman. It will directly affect your iman. Now this conversation is actually identical for men and women. Why? Because you have to look at these two ayat in the beginning part of them. قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ. Identical, isn't it? But Allah gave a further motivation to believing men. ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَكُمْ is better for you. Because you got a bigger problem. They're not so crazy about staring at men. Ooh, he ugly. Then he'll marry him 3 months later. She'll marry him 3 months later. But she'll call him ugly and be fine. But you and I, we got a problem. We have to work on this. And we have to realize that's better for us. ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَكُمْ, man. It's better for you. It's purer for you. It's closer to tazkiyah for you. And then, إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا يَصْنَعُونَ. And not even, why not just, وَاللَّهُ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا يَصْنَعُونَ. Wow, حاليا, we could have been done. إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا يَصْنَعُونَ. Don't you ever doubt it. Allah has full news of what you keep making up. And the sun'ah here could be the excuses. It could be the kha'inat al-a'yun. It could be the stealing of the glance. It could be the lies you make to yourself and I make to myself. It could be the justifications. All of it, man. All of it. There's one ayah that we should just kind of have a poster of on top of our TV. A sticker of on our phone. ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَكُمْ. Just that. Just like a slap on the face. So before you hit play, it says PG-13 or parents strongly cautioned or for brief sexual content or nudity or whatever. You're like, brief. Brief. It says brief. It's not a big deal. The following is rated R. R, it's not NC-17, it's R. I can handle R. Not a big deal. You know, you keep dropping your standards. You keep exposing yourself to this stuff. And I tell you, necessarily, it has spiritual consequences. It has imani consequences. This is now identical information or identical advice given to women. But women, the dhalika azka lahum is not mentioned, or dhalika azka lahunna, but actually Allah went to something else. Because perhaps the women's problem in one way, is the same as the men's problem. This is general advice. So if there are commonalities, then learn from the women's advice too. And women learn from the men too. In other words, for example, some women are really attracted to men. A lot of women aren't, but some women are just really like, oh my God, they have that problem. Well then they should take that more seriously. On the other hand, the problem highlighted for women, the spiritual, remember I told you a spiritual problem? Not being able to control our eyes is going to become a spiritual problem. What's the spiritual problem on this side? According to Allah, I won't even go into the detailed discussion yet, but listen to this.